Hi, welcome to 2 Pixel Wide. It's been a long time. I was gonna write a whole script, but I kind of wanted to just kind of tell this from the heart, but I haven't really talked into a camera in a really long time. But Giant Bomb has been going through some changes recently, and it's starting to look like it might not survive this, and even if it does, it's never going to be the same again. And although I haven't really been keeping up with the site for the last little while, Giant Bomb means a whole lot to me personally, and I really wanted to sort of maybe, I don't know if I would say eulogize, but maybe just look back on everything that website did for me. Back in 2007, when Jeff Gerstmann was fired from GameSpot, I wasn't really following GameSpot at the time, but I followed Joystick, I followed numerous other sites. I was definitely into games, not as much as I would come to be, but I certainly followed the news, followed things. I was a gamer. And when Jeff Gerstmann was fired, it was immediately clear that he was a person that I should probably follow if I want realness in games journalism, whatever that even means. So I started following him pretty much instantly. The arrow pointing up, arrow pointing down, up, I don't remember. The arrow pointing up podcast, and then eventually, him and Ryan Davis started Giant Bomb. And I loved what they were doing. They were really ahead of their time in terms of video-focused, like video-centric, personality-based games coverage, where it was less about the nitty-gritty reviews and more, honestly, just about having fun. This was before the days where Twitch really kicked off. This was before the days where a lot of what we see now existed. And I think Giant Bomb really started a lot. I think we have Giant Bomb to sort of thank for a lot of what games journalism, whatever that even means, really turned out to be. So in 2008, they started Giant Bomb, and I was a pretty avid reader, pretty avid watcher. I watched it all for a long time, but it wasn't for another few years before I really got the itch to start making content myself. And in, I think it was 2012, I started this YouTube channel, and it was embarrassing. It was so bad. But it was just me, my little computer, and it was like I was recording the audio off my phone. And back in 2012, it wasn't as easy as it is now. Like before, you had to go through GarageBand and record and then try to somehow get that audio file off of your phone onto your computer. It was a whole headache. And it started me on the path that I had no idea where I would end up many years later. I think it was let's see, if that was 2012, I think around 2013, 2014, I started live streaming. But all throughout this process, all throughout the years of making content poorly, one thing I started to really develop was just a love for the technology of it all. You would see throughout all of the live streams and all of the videos, I was getting microphones and switchers and video capture devices, and I was getting really excited about all that stuff, and I would tinker and fiddle with graphics on my live stream and really get into that. I never once was any good at actually, entertaining people on camera. But I really started to develop a love for the tech. And bringing this back to Giant Bomb, one of the cool things that they did on their site is they would kind of bring you behind the scenes every once in a while and show you what they were doing. And it was really interesting to see the stuff that they were doing because they were really keeping it profesh, They had professional switchers, gear, cameras, everything, and it was so interesting for me personally. And I'm sitting at home using a webcam and a Blue Yeti microphone and really just kind of figuring things out for myself and not really knowing how to do anything, but slowly and surely learning the basics of video production and live production and all that stuff. I was still working at a video game store for a long time, and I eventually left that and started working at the convenience store. Things weren't going particularly well for me. I was trying desperately to make it as a live streamer, and that wasn't going anywhere. And I was getting really frustrated just with life in general, you know. I had 4 kids. I was having a really hard time paying the bills. I was unhappy with things, and like I just wanted to make things for a living, you know, like kind of everybody else, you know. That was sort of the beginning of the age of people wanting to be YouTubers or people wanting to be Twitch streamers. It's a bit of a silly dream, but it's, you know, you want to kind of have fun. You know, if you're gonna be working all day, every day to make money, it might as well be fun. And I was not having fun. You know, I was selling smokes to meth heads at the local convenience store. Giant Bomb ended up posting a video like they typically do, just, you know, behind the scenes stuff. They were really excited about their brand new 1080p hardware, and they were doing a live stream to sort of shake it out and kind of explain how all of this tech was working and just kind of put it to the test. I don't know, it kind of broke something in my brain in that moment. I was looking at all the switcher stuff and the cameras and all the things that they were doing, and I was just like, I want to do that. I want to do that so bad. I spent years trying to be a YouTuber, trying to be a streamer, and I've never been an entertainer. I'm not designed to be in front of the camera. But one thing I knew for sure was I was really enjoyed the tech of it, you know, like figuring things out, plugging this thing into that thing and making it work, and I would love spending all my time fixing broken things and making things work, and just the idea of doing that in a professional setting seemed like such a pie in the sky dream. But I needed to do something. I was tired. You know, I was getting to be in my mid-30s, still working at a convenience store, not kind of getting anywhere and kind of just failing at everything. And I had to do something. And that video really just set a fire in me. I went to school, did 3 years of film and television production stuff. And in 2019, I graduated and I started, you know, doing the odd job. I moved to Ottawa and started doing odd jobs here and there, mostly at this one production company called Gusto TV. And ever since then, this is where I've been working. And the cool thing is, all of the excitement and all of the energy of that video that kind of pushed me to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and start doing things, led to this room, actually. I have landed myself in a position where I'm in charge of the technology of a television production studio. This room that you see behind me, they let me build this. This is our control room. This is where we plug 20 different cameras in and switch, and we make food television, and I get to direct all the cameras and do all the things. And it started with that one silly video that was a test of a thing on GiantBomb.com. And it was GiantBomb.com that started me on the path of wanting to create, of wanting to make something, do something. It was Giant Bomb that really made it seem possible to have fun doing something you love to do. And in, you know, the years since, COVID happened, People left, people got fired. Giant Bomb hasn't been the same in a really long time, and I've fallen away. But what I know for sure is that the people that were still there up until very recently, and there's still people that are there working right now, they loved doing what they do. But all this to say is like, it's really sad to see Giant Bomb go after all these years. Like I said, even if the website still continues to exist in one form or another, I don't think it's ever going to come back to being what it was. Drew Scanlon and Jason and Jeff and like all those people inspired me to change my life and to make it worth living. And I owe those people a debt of gratitude I'll never be able to tell them in person. And I just hope that one day, I hope they understand that what they did with that silly little video games website meant something to at least one person. It meant something to a lot of people, but I get to come into work and play with cameras and audio and microphones and build out control rooms and edit TV shows, and all thanks to a silly little video game website. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've made a video. That's because I come to work and make videos for a living, and I don't need this YouTube channel anymore because I get to do it for real, and I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. I found what I really wanted to do and what I really needed to be doing. Maybe if anybody sees this and you have a story about Giant Bomb, small, big, any little story at all, why don't you post it down in the comments or wherever. I would love to hear more stories about how Giant Bomb inspired you or just made you happy or anything, like let's come together and just share some fun, positive stories about this silly, stupid little video game website. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you.